Hello and welcome to Election Brief for all election-related stories. Coming up today, Defense Minister Dominic Nituwo challenges former President Mahama to provide evidence of his claims that the military is being used to intimidate prospective voters in NDC strongholds. We'll tell you about that. Also, a foreigner has been convicted and several others currently before court for attempting to register in the ongoing voter registration exercise.
As we speak now, the gentleman is behind bars. He attempted to register when he doesn't qualify to register.
Also, we have an update on the gunshots and violence that characterized the voter registration exercise in the Oti region on Sunday, where 17 people were arrested on suspicion of being Togolese.
When they came, they said, bonjour. Then they responded, bonjour. Then they said, they are from Togo. Meanwhile, they teach French in Ghana.
We are live on your DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 144. I'm Rava Kumsin, your host for the next 30 minutes. Stay tuned in. We start off with Defense Minister Dominic Nituwo, who is challenging former President Mahama to provide evidence of his claims that the military is being used to intimidate prospective voters in NDC strongholds. Addressing a media briefing in Parliament House to respond to a social media statement by the former president, Mr. Nituwo insisted the figures on registration so far don't support the claims. In Banda, in the Bono region last week, the NDC accused the military of preventing people perceived to be their supporters from registering. A video in which some military men and NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia are seen in the area have surfaced. Here are excerpts of that video.
The phone is my father's phone. Security for no air frustrated voting. My baby be my teacher who videos.
Well, Mr. Nituwo accused the NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia of breaching the Banda Regional Security Council directive prohibiting political parties from busing people to registration centers, which the military is enforcing.
If the MPP try to bus people, the NDC will try to stop them. And we don't want that to happen. So the security will stop you before you bring trouble. If the NDC tries to bring people, the MPP will want to stop them. And so that is it. And that agreement is general knowledge. It's everywhere for anybody who wants to see. And I have copies here that the agreement has been signed by all of them. And unfortunately, Johnson Asiedu Nketia refused to respect that agreement. He knew that they had signed to it. He knew that his candidate had signed to such an agreement that they shouldn't bus anybody. And for me to watch that video and see him with vast loads of people following him to a polling station is really unfortunate. And I think that he should not repeat that any longer.
Right, we are joined on the line by the NDC General Secretary Johnson Asiedu Nketia for some reaction to the minister's claim. Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Asiedu Nketia. Tell us about that video that has gone viral in which you were accusing the military personnel in Banda of preventing people from registering. What we saw were people in a bus. Was the NDC responsible for busing them?
You saw people in a bus in the video.
Yes.
You must be describing a different video, not the one that I was involved in.
Okay, it was a pickup. Let's call it a pickup.
It's not a pickup. People were in Kia trucks and some were in pickup.
Very well.
Yes, that is true. But you see, you need to, I'm surprised that a member of parliament is speaking the way that minister is speaking. What is his understanding of Basin according to the electoral laws? The electoral laws define Basin as an attempt by maybe a politician or somebody who has hired a bus to convey people from outside the constituency into a particular constituency where they don't reside for the purpose of registration. So I'm surprised that he's describing what is happening in Bana as Basin people. Has he indicated where the people reside and where they were being brought from to come and register?
Okay, Mr.
These are ordinary residents of Banda constituency who are being prevented from registering because they happen to live in the villages and along the river bank, the banks of the lake. So NPP, with the support of the military, have been mounting roadblocks to prevent people from coming to register from the banks of the lake because they were seen to be Votarians and I believe to be adherents of NDC. That is the story there, simple and short. And it is because of this, attempts to block some of them that led into a student being stabbed to death. The security services are not doing anything to apprehend the culprits of that murder. So I went to Banda yesterday following on reports that the military are actively blocking the road to prevent people from the shores of the lake to come and register. And in fact, when some succeed in coming to registration centers, they are physically pulled from the queue, alleging that they are togolese. That was the report that sent me there. And I went there immediately I arrived. I spoke to the military command there. And they disputed all those claims. I spoke to the police command there. They disputed all those claims. But eventually, in going around the constituency, we met a scene where people who were in a Kia truck going to the nearest registration center to vote had been blocked. So we went there and we called the military people to come and witness what they were denying, and also called the police to come and witness what they were denying. We called the media. UTV was there, TV3 was there to capture. You can call them to answer to this question.
All right.
So that if the minister does not have anything to say, he will help this country by stopping those lies.
Okay, Mr. Sedunketia, the minister says you breached the Banda Regional Security Council directive, which prohibits political parties from busing people to registration centers, which the military is enforcing.
According to the explanation I have given, which part of the Security Council this thing have I breached? Indeed, if the minister cares to know, it is not the Banda District Security Council meeting. It was a Regional Security Council meeting, which culminated in the signing of an agreement by all parties, including the commanding officer of the 3rd Battalion and the Regional Police Command and the the regional minister and the candidates for both parties. And they signed to the effect that the laws of the registration must be allowed to apply. It included the prohibition of busing of people. And when we talk about busing, it means carrying people from outside the constituency into the constituency for the sole purpose of registering. The constituency where they don't reside. So if he is defining busing to mean ordinary people moving from their villages to registration centers, then he is not qualified to be an MP at all.
Okay, all right.
So after the registration, after the signing of the MOU, it was the Banda MPP candidate who posted on his face wall that that document is fake and that he was not going to abide by it. He's going to use the police and the security services to do what they have been doing. And I'm surprised that I'm not surprised that the minister is supporting that type of ethnic bigotry.
All right, Mr. Asedun Ketia, you've been in the Bono region for a while now, assessing the conduct of the exercise. What can you say about the conduct of the exercise so far?
Well, wherever I have gone, I have encountered this type of problem in Nkranza North and also in Banda. Apart from that, the process appears to be relatively peaceful. But I am worried about this one because ethnic profiling is a dangerous thing. It is an international crime. If military were deployed along the Ghana-Togo border, this same minister came to say that they were there because of COVID-19. I went there and saw that they were brutalizing people even at registration centers. They still held on to that official line. Now we are in Banda, which is nowhere near the Ghana-Togo border, and people are still brutalizing the ethnic efforts, claiming that they are from Togo. What type of racial bigotry is that?
All right.
Let me tell them, in Accra, he is living in Accra. Many other tribes are living in Accra on Ghana. Some non-Ghans contest elections to parliament. When you are talking about people living Banda to the Bandas, there's a Banda man who is a sitting member of parliament in Ashanti region, offensive to be specific. What type of ethnic bigotry is that?
Many thanks for your time. We'll have to leave it here. That's NDC General Secretary Johnson Asedun Ketia there on that developing story in Banda. Now, the Electoral Commission has advised political parties to desist from assisting foreigners to register in the ongoing exercise. Now, it says some foreigners are currently before the courts for attempting to register, while one has already been convicted. There have been reports of security agencies preventing some persons suspected to be foreigners from registering. The Commission says it's unable to speak on the matter since it's not aware of the intelligence picked up by such agencies.
Foreigners who are caught trying to register will be prosecuted. An example is the Nigerian who was arrested and sentenced on Wednesday, July 29th by the Kaneshi District Court to 6 months imprisonment with hard labor for attempting to register the SWAT clubs in the Ablekuma West District. As we speak now, the gentleman is behind bars. He attempted to register when he doesn't qualify to register. We also understand that the police are looking for those who guaranteed for him. There are 2 individuals who guaranteed for him. The police have their names and they are looking for them. We also know of 5 Nigerians, 5 people from Niger, who also made their first appearance at the same court. We expect the police to continue in this particular tangent so that anyone who is not qualified will not be given the chance to register. Political parties and activists of political parties should desist from encouraging foreigners to take part in the registration exercise. We are equally beseeching our registration officials to ensure that all those who come to them to register under the 1992 Constitution are people who are actually qualified. Because the 1992 Constitution provides the guidelines for those who qualify to register. The same applies to the CI 91. So if these individuals are not nationals of our country, they shouldn't be allowed. Again, if you are a foreigner, stay away from the registration centers.
Now, gunshots violence characterized voter registration exercise in the Oti region after at least 17 people were arrested on suspicion that they were Togolese. 2 nursing mothers are also said to be part of those arrested during the last phase of the ongoing voters registration exercise. Here's an account of an eyewitness.
It's almost a month for no homophobia, but some mobile card. And some crofon on my best at the alcohol, and I done it Casacasa no ma to one. They turn up upon it to an actually Oba pe pacha say one o pacha say waye bone.
Papa ben.
Police na wato etuo no. So one waye bone. Se ya ma wan san ye bio. Se ya mfa ne bone che no.
Enti mo dia che no.
Asai. Enipa ye nipa nti.
Na etuo no mo na mo ben ha ehu aka mo ana musuro.
Pacha. Say ye no. Me kutu ase. So me wa.
Now, some residents who spoke to JoyNews expressed their disappointment as they claim they know and live with the individuals who've been picked up.
Question in French, like bonjour. And then when you answer them, then they think you are from Togo.
Who asked you bonjour?
The national security.
Oh, is that what they are doing?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, when they came in the morning, that is what they did. They called them, viens. When they came, they said bonjour. Then they responded bonjour. Then they said they are from Togo. Meanwhile, they teach French in Ghana. Me like this, I can speak French.
Sure.
But yes.
So how do you say how are you in French?
How are you? Comment ça va?
Ça va très bien, merci.
Ça va très bien. You see? And when you say it, then they think you are from Togo. Then they match you into the car and then they will take you away. Meanwhile, Akufo-Addo, our president, he was educated in France. He can speak French. Is he a Togolese or is a Francais? France. Some of them too, they have foreign this thing, like our politicians like this. They have foreign. Some of them have foreign passport, ID card, but they don't do anything to them. But you, the civilian, when you have it, then they say no, you are from Togo. Me like this, if like I have a work in Togo, I'm doing work in Togo, and I'm from there, am I a Togolese? I'm not. I go there to work and come back. I'm not a Togolese.
Do you have people who live here and then work or school in Togo?
Like those people who they take them, they are from the border to Togo. Sometimes they go to Togo school. They don't attend. They be schooling at Togo. Meanwhile, they are in border to Togo. They are Ghanaians, so they can't speak none of the Ghanaian language.
Well, government says it will investigate the matter. Here's the Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah speaking on Beyond the Lockdown last night.
You have heard reports of alleged intimidation in, I think, one particular area that happens to be Banda, I think, as your report mentioned. And it is something that would need to be looked into and investigated. You know that as a matter of policy, you don't start off by believing or disbelieving everything that is aired on media platforms. The important thing is to ensure that it is properly investigated. And if indeed you have some persons out there who are being over-exuberant, who are not acting in accordance with the law, ensure that these persons are brought to book.
Now let's stay with this story because our correspondent Peter Senu joins us on the line for more. Peter, what's the situation on the ground currently? We knew that 17 people were arrested and detained. What's the situation now? Hello, Peter. If you can hear me, what is the situation currently on the ground after 17 people were arrested yesterday?
Yes, I was saying that the situation on the ground now is calm. I've been to the community. I mean, I've been there. I'm just returning from there. The situation is calm. People are out in their numbers to register today. I've spoken to the guys who complained yesterday. I've spoken to them, and they tell me today has been relatively peaceful and quiet, and everything is ongoing.
And what about the police? What have they been saying?
The police won't go on record with me now, except to say that they will only talk to me after court. Currently, as we are speaking, I'm in the court premises. The people are currently in court, and then we are waiting the verdict that the court will give them.
All right, thank you very much. Peter Senu is our OT correspondent, bringing us that update from yesterday, where 17 people were arrested. Now, the District Registration Review Committee has disqualified Anthony Ayite, the assemblyman for Kwame Akura West electoral area in the Karachi East constituency of the OT region, for alleged provision of false information during the voter registration process. By this verdict, Ayite would not participate in the forthcoming general elections. The DRRC is made up of representatives of political parties, the Ghana Education Service, the Ghana Police Service, traditional leaders, and the Electoral Commission. as well, and they deal with issues concerning the registration exercise. By the electoral laws, one can only be registered when he or she resides in a particular community over 12 months, and nothing fewer warrants disqualification. Well, Aite conceded the disqualification when contacted by the GNA, admitted he was challenged for unlawful registration and consequently banned. Now, the Member of Parliament for Ketu South, Fifi Fiave-Kwete, has described as unfortunate government's denial of knowledge on alleged intimidation by the military against Airways at some voter registration centers across the country. The NDC MP's comment was a rebut to President Akufo-Addo, indicating he is unaware of any form of intimidation at any registration center in the country. This was when he addressed Muslims at the Kumasi Central Mosque on Friday. While speaking with JoyNews, Fifi Kwete said the president's comment smacks of dishonesty and desperation to hold on to power.
When you create the impression that the only reason why you have lost elections in the past is because aliens and foreigners came and voted against you, and then now you do everything possible to so-called prevent those aliens from registering, and only to realize that the numbers that are registering are still continuing, even though you have locked the borders, you have sent soldiers, so-called preventing people from coming. The people in Ketu South continue to coming out in their numbers and coming out. There's nothing we can do except to try to use some of these communist inferior tactics that they are using, going to literally disturb people in queues, telling them that they are not Ghanaians, they cannot register. But you must also appreciate that this is not happening just in Ketu South. I'm sure you have seen videos that even as far as even Bronga Hafo, where others are, the same thing is going on, where they are being prevented from voting. They are doing the same thing to other people who are non-accounts in different places. I mean, which tells you that there is a tribal agenda that MPP is pushing. And that is unfortunate. This is a country that has one destiny, made up of one people. We've lived together, worked together, contributed together for a country. And we should not allow the desperation for power to split us into what you call unit that want to fight each other. It's totally not needed. So there is already history, a long history, that whenever he's desperate for power, the first group of people that he thinks about in terms of attacking are the people who come from voter region, which is totally unfortunate. Now, so for him to be denying, for me, is just letting the world know that not only are we dealing with people who are desperate for power, but they also don't even have the honesty.
Also watching Election Brief here on your election headquarters. Now, with barely 4 months to election 2020, we ask, has the nation learned lessons from the bloody Ayawas West Wuogon by-election with pockets of violence at registration centers? Here's a report from the JoyNews political desk.
A bloody by-election at Ayawas West Wuogon that saw masked operatives of the National Security fire shots.
You kill a man in his own house.
We will count on the cooperation of all and sundry for the ultimate objective of investigating the violence and related incidents.
Ghana's democracy does not need vigilantes and vigilantism.
Pressure mounted on political parties to disband vigilante groups. Parliament has since passed a regulation outlawing vigilantism and all forms of party militia. The Peace Council also got political parties to sign a code of conduct. But with barely 4 months to the polls, pockets of violence have already left many Ghanaians worried. Gunshots and the killing of a prospective voter is of concern.
Any move that will be put in place to ensure that people are engaged, they are in gainful employment, they have something to do, will help us a lot.
At this point in time, it's important for the police to be seen as fair.
We
we are facing an imminent threat and danger.
I want to take this opportunity to appeal to the youth of the Zongos to reject being used as pawn to perpetuate political violence.
Your election headquarters will, in the coming days, focus on raising awareness on how to prevent electoral violence.
Indeed, as a station that is advocating peace, we will be naming and shaming perpetrators. This is where to stay for all things election related. We are, after all, election headquarters. And that's a wrap for Election Brief for today. Join us same time tomorrow, 1:30 p.m. Enjoy the rest of our programs. I'm Arba Kumson.